Hi, my name is Abigail Saucedo, and today I'm going to be talking about HIV among African American women, HIV among women generally, and then finally, an app that is helping erase the stigmas revolving around HIV. Alright, so the scholarly article that I chose discussed a correlation between the contraction of HIV and adolescent African American girls living with or without clinical depression. Their findings concluded that those who suffered with depression were most likely to engage in sexual behavior and eventually contract the disease. However, I believe that this finding is relevant towards many other minorities living with clinical depression and lower socioeconomic areas, not only the group they chose to study. The study conducted may hold some truth, but it was a large generalization towards all African American living with depression. It was not representative as it targeted a lower-class city in Atlanta and failed to point out how social and cultural situations might contribute to the contraction of HIV or living with clinical depression. In following, the blog that I chose discussed the lack of concern for the women's HIV movement. Women represent over 50% of those living with HIV globally, but they are the group that most lacks the attention, the education, and preventative methods. A preventative method that they continuously offer to women worldwide is practicing a monogamous marriage. Can't pronounce the word. But this practice is not always prevalent in many cultures and societies. The group of women who are mostly affected by this disease are women of color and women living in poverty. There needs to be steps taken in order to help these struggling populations. This article states that the solution the government needs to implement is HIV preventative policies that specifically help the lack of knowledge in many underdeveloped countries. Because these countries are causing a rise in numbers of children contracting this disease through childbirth. Education and resources will then be the most valuable asset to helping this prolonged problem. And finally, the app that I chose targeted a social media-friendly audience to further end stigmas revolving around HIV. Founded by the U.S. Department of Health, this app allowed for users to upload the app, post a picture of themselves with a sign that read "Facing AIDS" and why they chose to do so. A picture that personally impacted me was a photo of a man holding a sign that read, "Facing AIDS is something I do in my everyday life," and right next to him, his sister holding the sign that read, Facing AIDS by loving and supporting my brother." Many of the photos include support, love for friends, but mostly it's a platform for people who have contracted this disease to realize that they are not alone in this battle, and for others to educate themselves and realize love and support is a main indicator for erasing stigmas revolving around HIV. Thank you for your time.